Hey, you need some R&R. You need some R&R. You need some R&R. You need some R&R.
Radio, RaNdOmNeSs. Radio, RaNdOmNeSs.
So Bernadette, the song that they kept wanting me to listen to for some reason is Walking Around the Riverview. I'm like, is this supposed to be?
Well, it's probably playing. It plays some of her. She does Sunday morning books every Sunday. With few musicians, and a lot of those are always like covers, which they do really good covers. Like they'll do a whole different version of the song, and then sometimes they'll do like the original stuff. I like the original stuff. I like their covers.
So how did you find her?
Random, like any of the artists that I found on YouTube are always just random. You know, you always go kind of down a YouTube rabbit hole. I forget. I was looking up covers of different songs. I think it started with like Coldplay. I'm Coldplay fanatic, stan. And I think I was listening to Coldplay, and then back then, this was like 2008 or something.
Yeah. Whoa,
YouTube.
You've been a fan that long?
Yeah.
What? That's like 12 years.
Yeah, I saw it would pull up, you know, different people that had like, oh, this person has a cover of, you know, because it was just going off the title of songs or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, and she popped up, she was covering a Coldplay song, I can't remember which one. And so I listened to her cover, and I really liked her voice. It's a very soft, soothing type voice. But at the time, okay, she's not much younger than I am. And at the time I was single, so I was like really liked her singing. I was a musician, so I really liked, you know, female musicians. And I'm like,
so
you know, she's kind of cute, you know.
You were trying to get connected.
So no, not really. I found her attractive. I liked her music, and then she's attractive. So I was like, oh, okay, you know. So it led me to check out her channel. So I went to her channel, and really the cover that I had caught her on wasn't very. I would say it was maybe like her 4th or 5th video. I don't think it's on her channel anymore. I think those older videos, a lot of the older videos, she may have gone back and unlisted. She kept some of her originals, but I want to say it was like maybe the 4th or 5th video in her uploads at that point. So she was still fairly new to posting on YouTube. So I went back and watched her other stuff, like her originals, and like so her original that really caught my attention was "Come Back Over." I was like, man, it was just a really good song. Her lyrics are very like creative. I think she's like a literature or English major or something, so you can really tell her usage of words and vocabulary is very.
Yeah.
You can tell that, and that I could tell that before I even realized, you know, what she was majoring in. But so it's "Come Back Over," and then I was like, I remember like the next day I told my sister and my brother, and I was like, I just caught this girl on YouTube. You should, see what it is. And if you saw her for music, that was like right around the time Juno had come out. And so for music style, I was like, this could be on like Juno. It sounds like the same kind of vibe. And
Juno, the movie about the pregnant teen.
Yeah.
Interesting movie if you haven't watched it. I mean, I feel like everyone has at this point.
Yeah. That's back in the day. But I've just kind of followed her on and off. I'll like if I went through phases where it kind of stopped signing on YouTube for a while or whatever else was going on. She was one of there's probably like at least three different artists that I started following around the same time that I would I wonder what they're posting now, or whatever. It's been a couple of years, so I signed back in and see. And then at one point I signed in, and she had done a little like demo, and so I bought that. That's not even available anymore. It's not one of the albums that she still has out. So I'm glad I ended up buying that.
Mark the music buyer.
Because each time, I don't know if they still have to now. I'm pretty sure they do, but like their first, especially their like the first album as a band and stuff, when she got like her lead guitarist that she posts a lot of videos with, and then they have a bass player and all that. But when they started doing albums, at least the first couple, I know that they were doing GoFundMe type things to get the money to make the album.
Yeah. So it was like a self.
But now it's like they're as far as I can tell from what I've like looked at Wikipedia or whatever, is anytime they do that, it like surpasses what their goal is like so quick. So many people enjoy the music. But I'm a firm believer in.
She does have a pretty big following though.
She does.
I think she has 250K subscribers, which is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, people always think like, oh, I need to get to the millions, but I mean, that's a lot of people supporting you.
That's a lot.
Even if half those people are like, let's donate $5, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. And I like subscribers. It's one thing to support the channel, and I don't want this to come out the wrong way. I was having the show, but to support the channel and hit subscribe. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like at the end of every episode say, hit the subscribe button, give us a like. Because they're going to do that if they want to.
Yeah.
You don't have to, like, press it in there every episode. But, like, for me as a YouTube viewer, when I subscribe, it's because I want to get, the alert, watch the next episode or whatever. It's like, almost every channel is going to have subscribers, and then they don't watch
people
any
never
of it.
watch. Yeah, that's what
so you can have 250,000 subscribers, but your videos get 100,000 views, which is still a lot, but that's half your subscribers. So some people out there aren't watching your videos even though they're subscribed.
Something you made me think of when you were talking about how you first started subscribing to her. I'm sure you don't still have that same YouTube account, right?
No, actually I do. It's my 512 market.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a long.
I wasn't posting back then because how I ended up. That's actually interesting side story. That's how I ended up with 512 RPDs because of YouTube. But I did. When I first created YouTube, I was like, I knew what YouTube was. Duh, everybody knows what YouTube is. But like, I just wanted to like favorite my videos that I wanted to go back and watch, so I couldn't like, have to go back and search for them or make a comment or stuff like that. I didn't have any idea about posting anything. So I created the YouTube account, and I forget whatever name I was trying to use back then. God, who knows? But it was taken, and YouTube was like, here's, some alternatives. And they gave me like 3 different ones.
So now
and
we know the story.
It took a mix between my name and I think my email and my phone number. 512 is the Austin area code. And that's how it got 512 Mark PD.
Okay.
And I was like, I like that.
So he just used a name generator, basically.
Basically. But that was like the end of it for years. I didn't start posting to YouTube. I did sporadically here and there, but I until I started like kind of vlogging or whatever, which would have been 2015. I think I started posting some videos. 2016, I really started trying to get into it because I was kind of tracking my wife's pregnancy with Melody. Which now I'm so glad I did because I love being able to go back and watch that. that's when I started posting videos, and then so I was watching like people to kind of get how do I do this, and so like bloggers like Ben Brown, who I still watch, Casey Neistat, and then some smaller ones, and they all use their names or handle or whatever, and I was like, I didn't know anything else to make up a new one. I just knew I already had this account for years, and it's fine, so I'll be like, hey, what up, I'm 512 Mark TV. And sometimes it's funny because people will say 512 Mark TV, it's like, no, it's 512.
Oh my God, yes.
It's not 512, it's 512
When they
Mark
read
TV.
it, they're like, okay, so RaveWave and 512 Mark D. I'm like, it's not that complicated. Or have you ever had someone say 512?
No, not yet.
I feel like.
But it was funny because did you ever hear of VidMe? It was a short-lived video platform.
Yeah.
That's I was I got into VidMe when they were going on, and I met a lot of creators on there. I loved it, and it's a shame it didn't last. But it was funny because we all got to know each other because it was a smaller community. And we watched each other's stuff. So like you talk about each other in their videos or whatever, but even then that would bug me because I was like, talk to somebody in the video, or we would just call back and be like, yeah, this blogger 512 Mark. I was like, you watched my video.
You know.
You know I'm 512.
You know my name. Why do you do this? Yeah.
And that's how I got my hat, because at that time my wife said if you can get to 50, they call them followers on Vidme. 50 followers. There was 50 followers on Vidme and YouTube. So a total of 100. Then I could get a hat and a shirt. And I got the hat, and then the shirt was like just something that I think I got at the mall or whatever.
Oh,
Never like a
yeah.
shirt. But the hat, that's a one of a kind, so that's my favorite. But I'm wearing my Bucks hat today. Today's Sunday. Tom Brady.
Who's the other guy?
Today at
the
4:30,
last?
so we'll drop at 3, and you still have like an hour and a half before the game starts.
Yeah.
Go
So,
Bucks.
I don't watch sports, but yeah, I know that's what's happening.
So yeah, that's actually about the same time I found Watsky, who I'm repping his shirt. Watsky. I found him around the same time.
It's pretty interesting. I accidentally stumbled across him because this morning I went to listen because you told me about him last night, and I'm like, wait, that name looks really familiar. I go back to the text, yeah, it's the same thing. I don't know if you know who Bobo Johnson is.
No.
He's like a rapper from San Francisco, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Big personality. He has this song. It was kind of like his breakout hit, Peach Scone, which was for. Do you know what Tiny Desk is?
Yeah, NPR.
Yeah. It was like to get on Tiny Desk, I think.
Reina Del Cid has a video to get on Tiny Desk too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was actually on it though, like maybe a year or so ago. But I was listening to his new album, and then Watsky kind of showed up. I love Bobo Johnson. You should listen to him.
Okay,
He's kind of like a talk rapper, and I know you like talk rap, so
Yeah.
yeah.
How do you know that?
I don't know. How would I know that? But yeah, Watsky was pretty cool. I mean, I listened to a few of his songs, and I wouldn't mind listening. The way YouTube music works is they just shuffle stuff into what you want to listen to, and that's how I find it.
Kind of like Pandora.
Yeah, except for not like ancient. Pandora's like AOL at this point.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm 40. I'm still like,
Yeah.
I was still, when we first started the show, I was like, let's use Skype. And I saw some comedy video or whatever where some guy wakes up from a coma and they're telling him about COVID and everything else like that. And he's like, but he asked about his parents and his friend is there. And he's like, oh, you can't, I'm not even supposed to be here. You can't visit. He's like, well, get him on Skype. And he laughs. He's like, Skype. He's like, it's all about Zoom now.
Oh my god.
And I felt so old. I was like, I use Skype.
I know. Well, that's actually when we did this is like the first time I've used Skype since like my freshman year of high school, maybe. So what, 2012? I normally FaceTime people. That's the thing. But I don't think that it would have been like a good quality of a video with both of our faces if we did FaceTime, because FaceTime was kind of side by side.
Well, FaceTime is harder to, when I was looking into how to do the, face-to-face and be able to record it, FaceTime, there's a certain way you have to do it, and the sound doesn't always come out good, and Skype. I was like, so I played around with it with my sister to figure out how to record, and I was like, okay, let's just use Skype. The Zoom is a whole lot better.
Yeah, I saw a tweet like when COVID first started, like when the lockdowns first started, and someone was like, Skype, how do you drop like a 20-year head start? Like how do you
Like,
mess that up?
Like,
Yeah, and they're just like, I'll just Skype. But Skype is complicated to use, and I can say
I don't
that.
think so.
It was hard. I was trying to just like test it, FaceTime my sister when I got my laptop, and I had no clue how to do it. I think the only reason that I was able to do it with you is because I sent you like a link to my thing or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zoom life. We're zooming.
But yeah, hopefully Johnson, I'll have to check him out. But Reina, that's one of my favorite. When I was at Furman, I don't know if it was the second or third time that I'd gone back there. But you know, one some Saturday or whatever, when I was like, it's starting to get slow. I went, what? Something made me think of Reina. So I was like, looked her up, and she had just posted within that week. Had posted a video for Tiny Desk, a submission to Tiny Desk for NPR, and it's called The Cooling, which is a really good song. It's one of my favorites.
I'll check it out.
And you know, she has a whole setup there, and I think they're in like a library, coffee shop, or whatever, where it's kind of a small space.
Mm-hmm.
But they have their musicians set up, so it's like they're really trying to kind of replicate or show
With the Tiny Desk
what they would be able to do at the Tiny Desk. And they played The Cooling, which is just a great song. And ended up, I never followed up with her after that. I think I kind of started getting into other stuff. And but I do listen to NPR, and I never noticed that she was on there. But
Oh wait, so that plays like on the radio?
NPR, yeah, it's National Public Radio.
Wow.
That's what NPR stands for.
Well, I knew that, but I didn't know that Tiny Desk and that were like the same thing.
Yeah, I think they do play them on the radio. I know they talk about them on the radio, but then I have NPR has NPR Music on YouTube, which I follow, and that's where I watch like those.
So have you watched a lot of Tiny Desks?
I wouldn't say a lot, but I do sporadically. I'll see it depends on who's on there. But because I like watching those performances of somebody I know because it's something different. But I also like watching somebody that I may have heard of, and that But so I came to find out recently when I first started the channel and I was gonna do an episode on Reina anyway. So I started, getting back into kind of catch up on what she's been doing. And I found out that she didn't end up getting on Tiny Desk, but she got really close. And NPR still ended up doing a segment or whatever on her, and like played some of her songs.
Yeah.
And that definitely boosted, her following. And they played, I think the biggest song that they played from her at that time was Death Cap, which is right now my all-time favorite song.
Death Cap.
Yeah.
I think
I was gonna mention my favorite.
Yeah.
Hey, check these out, but at the same time, I was like, I kind of want her to listen and see what her.
I think what ended up happening was they just kept showing me like songs, her top songs.
Yeah, and they'll do that.
And that's fine. I mean, I guess it's good to find out someone from what other people think is the best, but it definitely I will listen to some of your favorites so you can send me those or you can figure them out later. It was fun. I like I said, finding new music, and I think that she's really talented. I kind of wish though throughout that she had some maybe some rock in there. Like I just felt like she was almost to the point where she could be like, if she went rock, she could totally do it. She just needs a few more instruments in there.
And I just don't know if that's how much.
Yeah, and it probably isn't, but like it was possible, and I could hear her voice. She has the voice for it, I think, and her band's kind of cool. There's this band I think they're called Pile, Pile. And they have this song. It's called "I'll Come Crashing." It's one of my favorite songs, and it's just like it's very. But that's what she reminded me of, and she was like one step. Like if she would have added the drums or whatever, like the rock part of it, I feel like I would have been like, I'm obsessed with her. She's my new favorite.
There's one song of hers like that. It might be the one that you said it's probably the closest one like that, I think. But I don't know the title. It came on a it does like the, I don't know if you call it, like the guitar part is very like kind of strong, kind of.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's the closest to like really rock like that I've heard, and it suits her, it fits her. But she's definitely more of the bluegrass style. Yeah.
I was thinking earlier when you were talking, that's why I brought up if you had another YouTube account besides the 512. How many like ghost subscribers people have? Like think of YouTubers that have been going forever that have like 10 mil plus. I mean, do you ever think
When you
about
say
that?
ghost, do you mean like them subscribing themselves from?
No. I mean like people subscribe and then never listen again, or they die, or like literally ghost subscribe. That creeps me out.
I think a lot because I think it's just the way that, because I'm guilty of it too, because I would subscribe to, Reina and bloggers and other Watsky and other people, and then just not be on YouTube for a while.
Yeah.
Or when I was, was to figure out how to fix my doorbell or whatever random thing you can learn from, which I did. I learned how to fix this doorbell from YouTube, but like whatever random, and then I'm off YouTube and on with my life.
Yeah.
There's just periods where I wasn't posting, I wasn't watching videos, I just had other stuff, going on. And I think that happens to just everybody.
Yeah.
So I think the average, I don't know, I would hope maybe 25%.
I just like creeped myself out thinking of the dead people though, because when Facebook first started, like even like a couple of years ago before they started doing the in memoriam pages, like if someone dies, their family has the option to change it to like in memoriam, and then
The
people
Facebook.
on Facebook. But
And Twitter. Well, I'll say something about Twitter when she finishes.
and then like people just post on their page like, oh, I was thinking of you today, and I'm like, I get that's a way for people to mourn, but it's kind of creepy to me.
It is creepy, yes.
Like
because Twitter will do that with like famous people and like musicians especially. I'll see like, and it's verified. It's still verified or whatever, and it's like Chris Cornell or Chester Benningfield or people that died, and they're like, and they're saying and it's coming across as if it's him tweeting, and it's like, dude, you died like 2 years ago.
The guy that died
I miss
at
you
the
too,
Trump
but
rally,
that's so
the
weird.
Trump rally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The Herman Taylor, whatever.
Yeah.
What's his name?
The politician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 2 days after he died, it's like, oh, make sure you wash your hands. Like he died from COVID. What the hell?
That's weird. I mean, I get it, but it's like that's weird. It's like it.
I try not to think about it. There's something.
I'm not gonna follow,
a dead person.
Yeah, or even bands that are long. I think there's like a Beatles Twitter page. It's like the Beatles are long gone. They broke up. Yeah, there's still surviving members, but it's like they're not current anymore.
Every once in a while, Paul's like.
I'll follow. Yeah, like I don't currently, but I would follow Paul McCartney. But I'm not gonna follow the Beatles verified page because they're not a band anymore.
Yeah. That's
weird. It's not.
It's like,
especially if they die, it's like they're not alive. Why am I gonna follow it and see current tweets? That's just
one of the weirdest things that happens, I think, in the entertainment industry is that they just milk you till there's nothing else left to milk.
They really do. And they try to cash in the best they can when you die.
Yeah, I don't know if you know who like XXX is. He's like a sing/rapper. Him and Juice WRLD both died. Mac Miller, great example.
Yeah.
Mac Miller is one of yes. Mac Miller is one of the only people that I've seen, at least recently, his people have put out an album after his death, and it was actually good. Like it's something that you can say Mac would support this. When X died, Kanye hopped on songs, like all these big like rappers, and it was more like X obviously filmed these were like his throwaways, and then they just hopped on it. So from now on, if we get any new X, any new Juice WRLD, it's their throwaways, stuff that they wouldn't have put out if they were alive, most likely. And you can tell.
Yeah, it depends on who's kind of supporting that or backing that too. I know they did that with Tupac and
with the hologram at Coachella.
Yeah, and that's just weird to me. but it depends on who it is and how close they were with them and their music and their production. You know, when they were putting out albums, to say, hey, would Tupac want this out, or was this stuff that he had in the vault that he never wanted anybody to hear?
Yeah, and they did it with Michael Jackson too.
Yeah.
Because he was supposed to go on that giant, like, this is my last tour, and then they released that album, and it was like, well, why do you have a song with Justin Timberlake?
And did like the movie with like the rehearsals and all that. It's like they
wanted the money.
They're still trying to get.
They were expecting a bag. They
tour,
wanted
like
their
some
bag.
sort of version of that tour to be still. I don't know. Michael Jackson's just one of those that I don't change the radio or something like that when his stuff comes on, but I don't make it a point to pull up his music and listen to him. I never really. He always made, even when he was around, he always made me uncomfortable. Even when I was a kid. So it's like, and even back then,
Because of his face?
No, because of like the accusations, and even back then, even though it's accusations or whatever, and then for whatever, they would always be dropped or settled out of court or whatever. And then it's like everybody just forgets about it and still just loves him to death. I'm like, dude, that's so weird to me.
I just don't know if it's true, and I feel
think
like
it's true.
It could be, could it? Macaulay Culkin is the only person I trust, and if he's cool, I'm cool. If he's Home Alone, so if he can be Home Alone with MJ and he didn't get touched, then
I don't know. He said something, about that, but I don't know. There's lines where it seems like sometimes celebrities cross, and then we're as a whole, people are just easy to forget about it.
Oh yeah.
And let it go on without ever then facing consequences.
Yeah, I think people are like, pedophilia is wrong, and then you see all these people in the government. There's a big ass fucking list. Like, this person was here, this person was here. You know that guy that just hung himself?
Yeah.
Well, all these people have been to his private island multiple times.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, Naomi Campbell? Why would she be there? You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, ultimately,
I think there's definitely a dark side to just being a celebrity, or a politician, or it's weird because in some cases, even politicians are like celebrity status.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the weird thing. Like for me, when I even started trying to look at, getting interested in getting into like local politics and stuff like that, it's like that's one of the things that made me not want to do that because it's almost, in some ways, it's almost like a cult. Like, you have to choose a side. You have to choose a side.
Yeah.
You can't be like Republican and kind of have liberal tendencies. Like, oh no, that you're the devil now. You have to pick a side, and you have to like almost take an oath that you only vote Republican and you only do this. And it's like, fuck that. Yeah. But then you have people that they have all their social media and they're like constantly posting, and it's like they're a celebrity in the political world. They're a celebrity. And it's like that's not what politics was supposed to be.
Yeah, no. I think, and I was talking about this the other day with my friends about how the Electoral College exists, and basically they're the ones that decide who the president is. You know, so it's like, okay, cool, they exist. But why? What was the original purpose of them existing at that time?
Yeah.
Most people didn't know how to read, write their name, wipe their ass, so that's like very antiquated, and that's what they say a lot of times. Like most of the current laws or whatever are extremely antiquated, so they need to figure out a way to make it like more in the future.
Yeah. There's a lot about things that the country was founded on, which are great.
Yeah.
But outdated.
Great, yeah. No, Joe Rogan was talking, I love Joe Rogan. I don't know why, I just love him. And he was talking yesterday, I was listening to his podcast with Ron White, he's like the old fan comedian. And he was saying how he thinks because like mayors and governors got a taste of being able to be like, you guys are home, like they got a taste of the power, that now even if they find like a cure, like an actual cure for coronavirus, there's going to be government-wide, nationwide lockdowns for like the small, like the flu, once it reaches a certain number of people that are dying or whatever, there's just going to be lockdowns for everything. Because, I mean, we let them do it one time, so who's to stop them in the future?
Yeah, I saw something on Facebook that I don't know how I feel about it, but it was a meme that had Anthony Fauci or whatever his name is on there, and it said, if they can convince you that you can carry the virus without, or be sick without having any symptoms, what else can they convince you of? I'm like, but there's a lot of viruses that you can have and not have symptoms. So it's like, that's not really fair. I see your point, but that's not really fair. But yeah, and in a way, they you know, with it, I don't think it's the whole convincing of, yo, you could be sick and without having symptoms that's scary. It's the overall fear of the virus that gave them the control.
Yeah, because there's people whose jobs depend on. I mean, a lot of people, like, you're working from home now, but I remember even at the beginning you said you didn't know if it was going to last. Like, you didn't know how the working from home would go, how this, like, there's a lot of people.
Just the job overall, because it's connected to the healthcare field and the VA, there's a chance that, you know, if the virus and everything else is going to mess stuff up to the point where if the VA was shutting down, you know, a lot of their offices because of COVID, and that could have impacted us negatively to where, like, oh, well, we're hardly even open now, so we don't need you.
Yeah.
But the opposite happened.
They need you more.
They need us more because to connect people with regular doctor's offices. So now it's like we went from not knowing if we're going to have enough work to we don't have enough people to get all the work done.
So you're hiring.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that there's people now who, there's two extremes, and there's not very many people in the middle. There's the people who are like, I don't care, let's still party, yeah, I got my Bud Light in my hand, let's hop in the pool, my family's coming over, my grandma, my great-grandma, her dad, like, you know, everyone, and then there's people that are like, please do not touch me, do not breathe in my direction, if you talk to me, close your mouth, talk with your lips shut.
My stepmom is one of those people where she's just so paranoid, she won't let family come over, she won't let anybody in the house. Nobody set foot in the house since March.
It's odd to me that some people who are like that, like your stepmom, are very, like, at the beginning they were kind of like, ooh, whatever, I don't care. And now, literally out of nowhere, they're like, okay, I'm not participating in my life.
But see, there's some people that, there are some people that still, like, don't, they think it's hyped up. They're not like, you know, it's government trying to control us and put fear in us, and you know,
which is possible.
I don't want to wear a mask. You can't tell me to wear a mask and all that. But I know of at least one person. Her daughter had it. Her daughter got so sick, and she's still like, you can't tell me to wear a mask. Blah blah. I was like, your daughter had it. Like, that's not proof enough for you to.
The dumbest thing that anti-maskers tried to do is the mesh mask. I'm like, bro, first off, you spent your money on that.
I saw that. It's like, well, nobody bothers me, and at least I can go shopping without being, you know, hassled. Like,
and you know, the point of where they started getting mad about having to wear masks is when they found out it did nothing to protect them, it was to protect other people.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you're so selfish.
Yeah.
So selfish. Like, just put them. The people that have their masks like that, bro.
Wait, go back. Let's go back a couple episodes. How did it go? Like,
oh yeah. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Republican. That's
pretty much the world we live in, right there.
And it's like, bro, it's not political. Your grandma's health isn't political. Your grandma's health is not political. And my grandparents don't like wearing masks.
And that's a sad, like, everything in this world now can be turned into a political fight.
That's why I'm like.
And it's like, what side are you on? Like, every little thing. Like, Starbucks comes out with a new Christmas cup. What side are you on? Like, make a decision.
It said, Happy Holidays and not Merry Christmas. Jesus Christ would be in. Jesus Christ did not have a Christmas tree.
He wasn't even born in December.
Yeah.
FYI. Like, I'm Catholic, and I'll say that.
Yeah, Christmas is like a pagan holiday. I mean, if you really look into it, even the days of the week are pagan. Like Thor, Thursday, I forget the rest. Dom's dad he has a lot of information, and sometimes I'll just sit down and he'll literally talk to me for like 4 hours just about all the stuff. You guys could have some interesting conversations. But he was telling me about that, how
We should have him as a guest one day.
yes, he would love that. I'll ask him. But he was talking about how
He's gotta wear a shirt though.
a shirt. I'll loan him mine for the.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to that.
He was saying how when Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar, they were like fighting over the calendar, and so that's why there's like days missing in February and all this, because they have to take days out of other months. So there's July and August. Those are both in there. And don't ask me, I don't know all this stuff. But basically, when they did that, the pagans and something, they were trying to get on the calendar too. So that's why every day of the week is like about a pagan god. So Thor's mom, Thor's like all that. Anyways, yeah. So Jesus did not celebrate Christmas. He was a Jew.
Yeah.
He was Jewish.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. We can come back to that. We should take a quick break so we can check on Nelly.
Yeah.
Actually, she's doing really good. Hopefully I didn't just jinx us and have a whole chaotic second half, which we're want to sit right here or something. We should come back to that because I have an interesting kind of whole thought and
About Christmas?
just about religion in general.
Okay.
Because kind of how I was brought up, then where I kind of fell, during clubs and stuff, and then, there's a period of time where I was spiritual but not religious or whatever, and then, I kind of came back into religion when I met my wife because she's hardcore Catholic. Well, I wouldn't say hardcore Catholic, but she's Catholic. I mean, through and through. So,
That Catholic is the main religion in the Philippines,
yeah.
Or she just is?
Yeah, because they were, the Philippines was for a long time back in the day occupied by Spain. And so when you go there, there's a lot of influences you can see in their names. Like her main name was Lopez.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of their names are like Spanish in nature. The Catholic type pictures and stuff like that in houses. Outside of houses are very colorful. All that kind of same feel that you get like in Mexico or Spain.
That's
There's
cool.
a lot of that. It is. Their churches, we went to church services when we were there a couple of years ago. Because, before COVID, we went every Sunday. Now we haven't been since. But they're like, my favorite was when we were in the province, because that's very remote type lifestyle, very simple. But their churches was very.
About, you wanted to like get a fishing boat, be a fisher, right? When you retired? I thought you said something like that.
We want to retire in the Philippines. I don't know about fishing boats.
Okay.
I might have said that. Who knows?
Yeah, you changed your mind. But yeah, province. So you went to church there, and it was.
Yeah, the churches there it's great because they have this whole, choir which sounds so like amazing, but it's an old timey type feel to it. It's very just simple way of life, but the church services were great. But yeah, technically I'm Catholic. I went through the whole process. It took a year or so to go through the process to be,
When you got with your wife or before then?
After what started was I was going to church, me and my wife, and we were all going to church every Sunday, which I liked the church. It's fine. But then when Melody was born and we had Melody baptized, I think she was about a year old. We had her baptized Catholic, and so at that point I'm not Catholic. And Drew was 10, 9 or 10 when Melody was born, and he was still, now he just kind of goes to church and waits for it to be over. But he would ask questions and stuff, and like some of it was specific to Catholic, and I was like, I don't know how to answer this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, how am I gonna, answer his questions or raise Melody Catholic or, you know, I was just this weird kind of outsider.
So you had to go through like an adult catechism?
Yeah, it's called RCIA,
Okay.
which I really enjoyed the process. I learned a whole lot. But there's a lot of history. I mean, there's tons of history in Catholicism, just for the Christianity. It always, you know, every other kind of denomination goes back to Catholicism.
Yeah.
So for those reasons, I didn't really mind becoming Catholic. But I do kind of catch myself, you know, there's some stuff in just faith in general, like Christianity in general, that I'm like I was born and raised, brought up believing in Jesus and all that. But the same, I've read other books and stuff, and I'm like, I believe, it sounds horrible. It's gonna sound, I don't know how this is gonna come across, but I do believe he existed. But like, as far as him being the Son of Man and, you know, born of a virgin, like, come on. Let's be realistic. I think he existed. I think he was a prophet, but I don't.
Well, Jehovah's Witnesses also believe that Jesus existed, but they don't. They say he was not hung on a cross. It's called like stake or something. And like a lot of stuff, because Don read the Jehovah's Witness Bible for whatever reason. So he was talking about that. But I was actually raised Lutheran, so I had to go through like the 2 years catechism, all that when I was like in high school. I did that. My brother and sister went to like a private Lutheran school, so like that was always in me. Like I know generally what Christianity is. I know like Lord's Prayer, like all of that. But I believe most of that. But I also believe in other stuff too. The universe, God, whatever you want to call it, that, karma.
Yeah.
I was very, like, earlier, the beginning of this year, I was very interested in reincarnation. I did a lot of research on that. And I found this religion. I'll look it up while we're on a break so we can talk about it more. But I found it, and it actually made me become vegetarian for like 2 or 3 months. So I was like, oh. Okay. Basically karma, you don't want to eat things.
That's kind of where I'm at, you know, as a whole. I believe in the universe, and I believe in karma and all that for sure. I think as far as like the Bible and Christianity and stuff like that, there's a lot of stuff that is taken literally when that wasn't even the point. I don't think. Like they take some of it literally, but it's like, but then some of the stuff it's like because I'm reading the Bible now. I read it every morning. I read a little section every morning. Like some of it's like nobody talks about this part. It's like we just conveniently leave it out.
Yeah.
And we just preach the part that we want to preach. It's like, yeah, that wasn't the point of it. I don't think.
Yeah. The one thing that I don't like about Christianity is how much hate there is for people who aren't following it to a T, like people who stay with their significant other when they're not married. There's a lot of hate with that. Gays also, like, bro, there was gays then, there's gays now. Okay, God.
There's the homosexuality in the Bible.
Yeah, like everything, and you know the thing is, they say Jesus died for your sins. So if being gay is a sin, he died for that. So you're not going to hell for being gay because that's what he died for, you know? Like, what makes one sin worse than another?
I think heaven and hell is just something that's, I don't think there's a literal heaven or hell. I think when you die, you know, it's the same as falling asleep. You know, when you sleep and you don't have a dream, it's just like,
that would suck.
It just, you don't even realize the time has passed, right? You fall asleep and you wake up and it's daylight. And it's just like, you know, 4 hours, 8 hours, however long you slept. It's just like, I think that's how death is. It's just lights out and then that's it.
Some people are scared to sleep.
I think I think at some point you do realize you're not a living body anymore. Because I believe you definitely have a spirit. And it, you know, the circle of life and you go universe or whatever. I believe in ghosts. Yeah. I think that's why ghosts definitely exist if you feel like something unfinished.
Mhm.
Or my mom used to say if she did believe in reincarnation because there was something you were supposed to accomplish or get done in that life and you didn't, and that's why you come back. She also would say if she didn't really believe in deja vu. I say she didn't, like she's not alive. She's alive. She just
I know. I was just thinking.
she's got dementia, and so she's not of sound mind anymore. So that's why I say like past tense.
Okay.
But she would say like deja vu was if she believed in reincarnation, she would see why deja vu existed because it's flashbacks to past life. But I don't know about that. Some of the stuff makes sense and some of it was kind of weird, but I've had deja vu sometimes and it freaks me out every time. Like it's like how is this so like spot on? What's happening? But other people say deja vu is your mind making a memory.
My deja vu, I actually have dreams like a month or so before, and then it happens, and I'm like, oh shit, I dreamed of this.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, it freaks me out because I'll have like the entire it won't be like a moment, it'll be like an entire scene, and I'm like, whoa.
See, I don't have enough. I don't remember my dreams enough to know.
I have very awesome dreams.
I know, you told me about one about our followers. All right, let's take a quick break and we will be right back.
BRB.
Okay, we're back.
We're back.
Thanks for hanging with us.
We're chilling.
Well, I was just saying on the break, and I just wanted to mention it real quick before we get into any other subject that we're going to find ourselves in. 3 things that kind of happened, and I don't think it was coincidence, around the same time that kind of led me to being at that time, it was non-denominational, that I felt, from that point on, I started saying I was spiritual, but not religious. And then I was that way pretty much until I met my wife. And now I'm officially, technically Catholic, which I consider myself, and we go to Catholic church, but I'm like a mix of everything else from my childhood, like, bringing up Episcopalian, the whole circle, like, now I'm just everything mixed in the pot. But one thing was reading books by, I'm pretty sure his name is Daniel Quinn, but I'm not sure, but Ishmael, my Ishmael, something else. There's just a lot of his books I read that started changing the way I was kind of feeling about religion. When I was married before, and when we started going through divorce, I started, leaning more on my church.
Yeah.
And one of the things at that time that was kind of separating was my wife didn't believe in Christianity.
Was she atheist?
Yeah, but I think she was not really atheist. I think she was
Agnostic.
She kind of followed fads.
Okay.
So I think she was would say she was atheist to say she was atheist. I don't think she really knew what atheist.
That's odd.
I mean, it didn't work out, so there you go.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody that was trying to help me during the process, like, you should try to get her involved. Y'all need to go to church, blah blah blah. He's like, have her read. It was a book called Letters from a Skeptic, which is
I think I've heard of that before.
It's actual letters from he's something in. I know I think he majored in theology or something. He's something in religion, and his dad is like an atheist, and it's actual letters back. The book is the letters from father and son back and forth.
That's kind of cool. I kind of want to read
Or
that.
where he, at the end of the book, which I can't verify because I never finished the book. He convinces his dad, to
believe.
Yeah, so he asked his dad to write me why you don't believe in God, or what about Christianity you don't believe, and I'll answer to it. And it ends up, getting his father to believe.
That's kind of a cool book idea.
But so I got the book to give to my wife, and I started reading it first. And by that time, we were already separated and stuff like that. And I would read the book, and I started ex-wife now. Yeah, this was years ago. This was 2007 when we ended up getting divorced, so a long time ago. But I ended up when I was reading letters back and forth, I started on the side of the son, but I started agreeing with the father with the stuff he was writing in the letter. It's like, God, that's a really good point. And I would want to see what his son answered back. I was like, yeah, answer to this. And I'm the Christian like.
What do you have to say?
And I was like, so like halfway through the book, I was like, you know, I'd already kind of started reading the Daniel Quinn books, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of just gonna take a break. And I stopped reading the book, and I started feeling more spiritual than religious because. Wow. Come here, man. So there was that, and then the final kind of piece to the puzzle is you are magical, everybody.
Are you gonna finish it for us?
Go finish it. Go finish it for me.
Look at the cloud.
Yes, good job. The final piece to the puzzle was the George, I think it was George Carlin, I'm pretty sure it was him. And one of his, which you would like, have you ever heard of George Carlin?
No.
And you're a comedian, come on. He's a
You always say that, like I didn't know who Bill Burr was. Like, okay, I don't know every comedian.
Well, Bill Burr, like,
exist.
he's a comedian, I think, but he's more like Joe Rogan to me than, you know, as far as being a comedian than like an actual comedian. I don't know, there's comedians like Chris Rock and, you know, what's the little dude, Kevin Hart and stuff like that. Where it's
Little
like,
dude.
you know them for all their funny stuff, but then there's the comedians that get into other stuff and like the kind of political or
Yeah.
you know, that's Bill Burr. George Carlin, he has the bit where he talks about religion. He talks about how like they're all kind of the same, and he starts talking about, at least again, I'm pretty sure maybe it's Bill Burr actually. I think George Carlin is too old to be doing it. So maybe it is Bill Burr. He's talking about, actually now that you say it, I'm pretty sure it is. I'm glad you said that. But he's talking about Scientology, how everybody thinks Scientology is just this stuff made up religion and what they believe and the story about Scientology and I guess their God and all this kind of stuff. And it's weird, but it's like it's just this weird version of Jesus. Like and that's what it was his point. Like you can't Christians have no room to talk about saying this is made up. There's no proof. Blah 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 about Scientology when like their story is about a lady that got immaculately conceived a baby from God. Like okay,
well,
any of it is not really believable, but the idea, his point was, which I kind of believe, like the idea of any religion really, to me anyway, is the point is to have faith in something.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what you believe in. Because they're all kind of the same. They all have the same bottom line: is there's something and more power than us, and there's no proof to it, and you just have faith in your beliefs.
You gotta be like the spaghetti head people, Bostonians.
The faith in any religion comes in having faith in your religion.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, the faith in the religion is faith in yourself. And sometimes people choose to go with religion because they can't believe in themselves. They have to have something else. One of the religions that I discovered is the Last Thursdayism, and it's the belief that nothing happened past last Thursday or like your
last Thursday.
Jesse, me and Jesse used to go back and forth. I think he's the one who told me about it. And it's like the whole concept of Last Thursdayism, and that is like the one that I know about. But there's other days that are the same. So like there's the last Saturday, last Monday, like, but it's still the same basic thing. You're in a simulation, and you have to get through without believing in anything. Like you can't use God as a crutch. You can't this that. But you have to. The only thing that you have to believe is that the world started last Thursday. And then this coming Thursday is also last Thursday. So it's like a whole thing. It's very confusing. But but if you believe that, if you believe in the last Thursday, you also are like fucked basically. I don't know how to describe it, but like you're not supposed to believe in that either. You're not supposed to believe in anything. It's really interesting. They have like a whole website manifesto. If you're bored, look it up.
Yeah, I remember you kind of trying to explain it at Furman. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it is Bill Burr because there's some stuff in here about Scientology, but I might go back and watch it. Okay, so we're back. I'm not sure. So the battery died. I'm not sure where we're at. The camera just like bleeped, said something about the battery, and then said bye bye. It
literally said bye bye.
So I'm not sure what we were talking about. Something about Thursday.
Bill, oh yeah.
Last Thursday.
Yeah, we were talking about that, and I was telling them if they want to look into it, I definitely would. But it's interesting.
It is interesting. I remember you trying to explain it to me when we worked together. But,
religion, crazy thing.
It's crazy.
There's actually a Kanye religion. Did you know that?
It doesn't surprise me, but I did not know that.
It's not officially like Kanye has nothing to do with it, but when Jesus came out, which was like 2013, I think, they made the religion Yeezianity. It's basically like Kanye is, the savior born again to save humanity. He's like the visionary, whatever. So it's pretty interesting. They also have a website. They don't ever do anything, I don't think.
So keep talking.
But yeah, Kanye has a religion. I think it's pretty.
I can't get the mic.
What?
That's okay.
Yeah. Kanye religion, blah blah blah. They made up Yeezianity because he said he was Jesus. I am a God. Great song. People always bring that up now. They're like, well, Kanye said he was a God. Okay, well that was like 7 years ago.
John Lennon said they were bigger than Jesus. Beatles were bigger than Jesus.
Yeah, I feel like people latch on to like certain things and never like
Turning Kanye into a religion or anything about that makes me think. Did you ever watch Family Guy where they made a whole religion about the Fonz?
No.
You know who the Fonz is?
Yeah, from he had like the slick back hair, the jacket.
Yeah, from like the 60s, I guess, somewhere. Maybe not quite that
Good
old.
Days? Is that
Happy Days.
Happy Days.
But yeah, Peter Griffin makes a whole religion for the Fonz. And they built the church and everything.
I think you can argue that Peter Griffin is the best character on Family Guy.
Yeah, he's probably one of my favorites. I haven't watched that show in forever. So, going back to Kanye. So I've never even heard the story actually. I've known about the obsession, but I don't know where it began. Because you are wearing a Kanye 2020 shirt. Beautiful.
She's coloring for us.
She's
We
coloring
need some more art.
What color? So I can put up the pictures. Good job.
Kanye 2020. I bought this shirt. I believe it was the 2015 VMAs. He was getting the Visionary Award, and he announced that he was going to run for president in 2020. So, like, as soon as this shirt came out, I bought it. I've had this shirt
Are you gonna
for.
vote for him?
I honestly don't know. I really don't. Like, I feel like my vote is so pointless that I'm like. But
I mean, if it's pointless, then why not vote for him?
Exactly. But here's the other thing: people are trying to bully me into not voting for him. Like, bro, I've had this shirt since I was like, however.
My family was doing that last election, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting it from both sides because my family's kind of divided,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I'm not gonna vote because I couldn't stand either choice. Like the ones that were for Trump is like, if you don't vote, that's a vote for Trump. Like you're assuming I would vote for Hillary.
Yeah.
And then the other one's like, if you don't vote, that's a vote for Hillary. It's like you're assuming I wouldn't vote for her. like you're making an assumption that I'm gonna vote for who you want me to vote for.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's kind of like a whole thing. So I mean, even like as recently as a few days ago, I was like, a vote for Kanye is a vote for Trump. Okay, make it a bumper sticker. I'll plop it on my car. Like I don't care. Kanye, I feel like he has great ideas. I don't think he's ready to be president right now.
I don't think so either, and I also.
I'm kind
of done with the celebrities being president.
Yeah, Ronald Reagan was a celebrity.
Yeah, and I mean, but that's.
I don't know anything about his presidency, though, so don't ask me.
I mean, I vaguely do. I was a kid when he was president, but but my thing is like I mean, again, I was a kid, so my perspective is I remember him being president, and I remember my parents telling me that, oh yeah, he used to be an actor. And I was like, what? That's so crazy. And they would reference it in movies. I think it's referenced in Back to the Future even, where they're like, he says Ronald Reagan is the president, and the guy's like, the actor? So it's like there was a distinct difference between the Ronald Reagan the actor and Ronald Reagan the president.
But there's no
With Trump,
yeah.
it's like it's just Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's like he's still tweeting nonsense, and he's still Donald Trump. He's just the president. I was kind of hoping there was going to be that difference. There's somebody somewhere going to be able to control him, but that
he's a Gemini. Geminis are uncontrolled. Kanye's a Gemini.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just
I don't know anything about it.
Basically, Geminis are like they're either really good, really bad, or you don't know what you're gonna get. Geminis are two-sided. Their sign, like I don't know what it's called, but like their picture of what their sign is twins. So a lot of twins actually are Geminis. Okay, not a lot, but like Beyonce's twins. But let's not talk about Beyonce because. But anyways.
Really? That's interesting.
I don't even want to get on it.
Okay,
I'll go off.
I want you to go off, but we'll have to do that another time because I don't want this is our last battery, and I don't know when or if it might die. Why does it say pause? Is it pause? Oh no, it's saying if I want to pause. Okay, because it's blinking. It's a new camera. I've never used this camera before, so.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean Kanye, I don't really want him to be president because I mean if you look at the presidents, look at Obama. When he came in, he was so young, healthy, all that, and now you have like he just looks like an old man, like all the gray hair, everything. So I just don't want that for Kanye. Plus Kanye's a little unstable once he gets more. Once he gets more stable, maybe, but I don't want him to put himself.
I feel bad for him though. Like some of the stuff like he tweets and the people that respond is like, dude, do you not have any like sensitivity or heart?
Yeah.
You know.
They're like, where's the album? I'm like, bro. Even as recently as like a couple months ago, he was tweeting because Kris Jenner wouldn't call him. Like he was tweeting like all this stuff, and they're like, bro, but you said there was gonna be an album. Where's the album? I don't care about the album. I care about his health.
Yeah, exactly.
I care about his health. You can tell he's in an episode. You need to help him.
So, where did the obsession with Kanye begin? Has it always been there, or was it some?
It kind of elevated in high school. I think I've always loved Kanye. I remember the first time I ever heard him. It was at my best friend at the time, my childhood best friend's house. She had a computer room. And she was showing me stuff on YouTube, and she showed me this video of Kanye. It was his Stronger video. And I don't know if you know anything about anime, but it's based off of, I think it's called like Akira or something. And it's just the colors, everything. It was super cool. It was like Japanese. It was like, so I was obsessed with it. So I just make her play it over and over. She's like, Raven, will you do this? I was like, okay, after, can we listen to Stronger? Can we watch the video again? And I just got obsessed. Like, that was my favorite song for years. It was my favorite song. And then in high school, right before Yeezus came out, I just got obsessed with Kanye, Kim, like, just, because that's when I got my Twitter. So I became part of Stan Twitter, Kanye Twitter, and I could just see everything. I mean, I would literally just be on my phone. I remember their wedding. I was a hot mess. I was on my phone so much in class. Pictures, what's happening. And then once I saw they were finally married, I was like, I was sad. I deleted the app and I didn't go back on for a week.
Really?
I deleted all social media for a week. I was so sad. And I was like, okay, he's happy, I'm happy. And that was that. I mean, I just loved him. And my obsession has definitely gone down. I used to, in my room, when I lived with my mom, I had 2 full walls covered from floor to ceiling with magazine clippings of Kim and Kanye. It was my Kanye wall.
Wow.
Yeah. And once I took that down.
That's full on Stan.
Yeah. It took me a long time to like fill it up. It's pretty cool. I'd go to the library and rip out pictures and
That's crazy.
but yeah,
But it was just something about the video.
that's what originally made me like Kanye. And then I just love him because he does whatever, you know? Like he doesn't care what people think. He just keeps doing him, you know?
Mine, I think, as far as famous stands or whatever that I like fanatic about, it's really only two bands. It's Coldplay and Pearl Jam. Those two, I'll buy at least. I can't buy every album, but I'll make it a point to buy every studio album that comes out. Some of their concert albums, go see them in concert and stuff, but like sometimes they just come out with every little EP and single and stuff. It's like, dude, I can't keep up with all that. But I mean, Pearl Jam, I can't really explain other than I've just always been into them since they were a kid. Like Eddie Vedder, I remember just reading articles about Eddie Vedder and Rolling Stone. Wait, you want to sit down?
Yeah, I got some questions for you.
Coldplay was just because their album came out with Yellow right when I went through like this major that girlette we talked about in the last episode that breakup.
Okay, so
And their music just, I don't know, I just remember having that album and just listening to it all the time. And so after that, just I got their second album because I was like, oh yeah, I like their first one. And from there, I was just hooked. But both of those I've just kind of followed since their first album and just never stopped. But now Coldplay is like, I think they had two albums out when I was overseas, and I would listen to their albums and it would just make me feel calm and make me think of home and stuff like that. And now since then their music's changed a lot, but I'm still like, anything stresses me out. When anything stresses me out, or I get upset, or even PTSD or stuff like that, it's like I can put on Coldplay and it'll calm me down. So there's a lot of like flack about Coldplay, what type of band they are, and what kind of music they play. Like, oh, you're Coldplay. What do you get?
I think it's more of a joke at this point. I don't think people are being serious,
yeah.
but
especially in the beginning, but I was like, dude, I'm not ashamed to admit it. Like,
if you said Nickelback, I might have to say like
their music just calms me down. So I'm fan of them. But when I first started this channel, I did another video of another YouTube artist that I followed, and I called it, when I was doing different playlists for different types of videos, I did a stand playlist. And I'll probably put Reina in this one too, just because the whole idea of the channel originally. See, that's why I was afraid what's going to happen when she saw the when I first started, the channel was all about talking about music and getting lesser known artists out there or whatever. But I did want to talk about some of my favorites, but I can't really call them as lesser known artists when they have 200,000 followers.
Yeah.
And some of their videos have millions of views.
I thought you were gonna show me like this obscure, like I don't know, like Spanish lady, and then I'm like, she has 200K. I don't think she's that, and she's verified.
On Instagram.
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
I think she's verified on Twitter too because I followed her on Twitter. Maybe.
But yeah, sure. Once you get like Watsky, I was gonna do a video on him, but he would have been in my stan list. The other guy was Ronald Jenkins, which he makes instrumental music. The best thing about
verified on Twitter.
When I found Ronald Jenkins on YouTube, it's for him. For becoming a fan of him is he doesn't play much on YouTube anymore because they started kind of like taking copyrighting his music or whatever. And he was like, "You're not gonna take my music," so he stopped posting. But it was what got everybody into him was his music's really good. It's instrumental, electronic type stuff that he plays on the keyboard, but it was watching him play. Like you watch him play, he's like just so into it, just jamming out, and he's so good. It's like that was the draw, I think, to a lot of people. But I did a video on him. But, so I think there's definitely different levels. For me, anyway, there's different levels of stands. There's stands where people are, not everybody knows about them, but they're still not like unknown. And then there's stands of like, who hasn't heard of Coldplay or Pearl Jam?
Yeah.
Or Kanye.
And that's the thing. People are like, well, Kanye did this. How do you feel about it? It's like, ultimately, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, the slavery was a choice days were hard. Those are some hard days. I mean, anytime Kanye does anything, people will text me like, "Oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about this?" Or they'll at me on Twitter or mention me. I'm like, bro, I am not Kanye's publicist.
Yeah.
I'm not his wife. I'm not his sister. I'm just like a fan. Like, and he can do what he wants. At the end of the day, free will is very important.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So.
Somebody did a video. I can't remember what they were. They were on. I saw them on VidMe, but I know they have a YouTube. But they did this whole like thing on Kanye and why why he is the way he is and why people love to hate him and stuff like that. But they were saying it's like he's just one of those unique people that he's like eccentric and all kind of stuff like that. He's almost to a point where he's like so talented and so smart and so like the way he is that he can, because some people hate on him for possibly doing what he does or being the way he is on purpose. It's like, and the guy that was making the music is like, I don't think that's the case. Mm-hmm. I think he's just like so wired the way he's wired that he can't help it. Yeah. And now there's stuff, about his mental health and stuff that kind of explains some of that. But I think some of that is coming from his, just him being wired the way he is. Like he's almost just so smart, so eccentric that maybe that's where his mental health is stemming from.
Yeah, Kanye. I remember finding this out. He has synesthesia. Where sounds have colors and all of that. So like if you hear a sound, there's color.
Hang on, hold that thought. Sorry. Come here, babe. I'm sorry, babe. Don't cry. Shh. Here, you can't be in the video if you're crying. You can't be in the video if you're crying. I forget what I... Oh, okay. So I do... What's the beef with Beyonce?
Okay, so, like, here's the thing. It really has to do...
We're going to trigger Reagan. Let's go.
It really has to do with Jay-Z, because... So, the word on the street is Kanye's wedding, Jay-Z and Beyonce did not go. Not word on the street, that's a fact. They didn't go. Jay-Z is supposed to be Kanye's big brother, right? Mm-hmm. Big brother in the terms of, okay, Kanye, you're my cash cow, so anytime I need something, I'm going to call you, we're going to do a collab, this and this. This is right after Watch the Throne, which was a giant success. Giant. So they didn't go to his wedding, and I felt like that was just messed up. I mean, this was right after Solange beat Jay-Z in the elevator, like all that,
yeah.
All that. But years later, Lemonade comes out, which is Beyonce's album, and I did not like Beyonce because they didn't go to the wedding, and I felt like that was disrespectful. If Kanye is your brother, why would you not go to your brother's wedding? So I felt like that was disrespectful. Beyonce releases Lemonade, and she talks about Becky with the good hair. Turns out Becky with the good hair supposedly is like some kind of music person. I don't really know her exact who she is, but she was at Kanye's wedding. And that's the real reason that they didn't go. Okay, that makes me not like her less, but still, like, I don't know. And then after that, they didn't like the Kardashians, so they never were around Kanye. And I mean, it's not their job to babysit him, but I mean, if that's your brother, you're gonna be around your brother.
Yeah.
But it's not like that. He's their cash cow. That's what it is. It's not family. And so I just don't really respect
That's
her.
sad because I mean, I added Kanye's music to my iTunes music library, which Apple Music really pisses me off right now. But that's another story. So I haven't gotten to, because I started listening to Kanye when he first came out. I got his first 2 albums, and you can kind of get the gist of his story before then. I didn't know who he was, obviously, before that. But then when I listened to his albums, I kind of got the gist of, because he talks about it, that, he was making music, he was like, I think producing or whatever, and wanted to do his own stuff, but nobody was backing. And he was just kind of like, from what I don't know if it's a song or somewhere in it, he wrote about it or something where he was
call.
like, I help support these people, but nobody would turn around and help support me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was Jay-Z that, I think Jay-Z
it was
offered
really
him something, but he was like, no, but then he went back and asked Jay-Z, are you still willing to help me or something? And that's kind of how so that's kind of sad to hear all that. I'm not into all that, I guess, celebrity gossip.
Like deep,
but
that's Stan stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely Stan stuff.
So, I mean, and people are like, I like her music, most of it. I like most of her music, but then I'm like, she did that, so I don't know if I can support that. Because, okay, Kanye's over it, but I'm not, because that's just messed up to me. Like, I don't like when people use people, and I feel like that's just use right now.
That does kind of sound like it.
But then you'll talk to, like, Sebastian, and Sebastian will say, like, the whole thing. Sebastian's our friend. My friend, he used to work at Furman.
We'll probably have him on the show.
Yeah, he'll be one of our guests eventually. But if I talk to Sebastian about it, he's all on Beyonce and Jay-Z's side. And so then I'm like, bro, just stop talking to me. Because, like, Sebastian loves to be like, yeah, well, because he loves Jay-Z. Jay-Z's, like, one of his favorite people. So, of course, he'll defend Jay-Z. But Jay-Z kind of... I don't really like him either. But
if I had to pick sides, I'd probably pick Kanye.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the whole, like we talked about in the East Coast versus the West Coast. That if I had to pick sides, I'd choose West Coast because I was a Tupac. Tupac is what got me into rap.
Mm.
And the reason, some of that was I connected, and I say connected loosely, obviously. But I connected to his lyrics more than I did, rappers on the East Side. Like, and because his stuff, it was just tough. Him and like Dre really started the whole being a gangster rapper or whatever, because they talking about real life, like they were talking about their experiences, and for some reason that, I guess that honesty is what connected me. So if I had to pick a side, I'd choose Tupac or West Coast, but I don't think that even is around anymore, is it? West Coast, East Coast?
I don't know. I don't think so, because there's a lot of collabs.
It's hard for the devil because there's no numbers here. It's almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
She's learning to tell time with the hands, and so for her birthday, it's on its way.
Minnie Mouse Puff. I was gonna ask you about
the
that.
Minnie Mouse Puff.
Minnie Mouse, yeah.
Yeah,
She wanted that shirt.
She turned 4, and what she wanted for her birthday was a clock. She's like, Daddy, can I have a clock in my room? That's like 4 years asking for a clock.
I think it's pretty
she's
cool.
She's so happy because she can tell time. So, but she's having trouble with my watch because there's no numbers on it.
I could talk about all the people that wronged Kanye, like Taylor Swift. Don't. Because now, I'm already talking about it. So basically, there's like a whole thing where Taylor Swift said that Kanye didn't get her clearance to say something in the song, which was famous in for the Life of Pablo album. He said, "I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex."
Yeah.
I made that beep famous. Yeah. Okay. And Taylor's like, he never said that. Oh, what was me? Kim comes out
with the recording.
Kanye, and he's like, and Taylor's like, yeah, that sounds kind of cool. Okay. So then everyone starts calling her snake. Now, and I mean, I guess that's good for her. Okay, well, you flipped it over. If I liked her, I'd be proud. But obviously, I haven't liked Taylor for a long time. There was because of Kanye.
Like I have the opposite effect when like beef or whatever you want to call it comes out, and I think I'm probably like their ideal listener in that, because I will get into both people.
Okay.
Like when they're like, I don't choose a side. Like if everything shifts to Taylor's favor, I'm like, man, yeah. I mean, Taylor, I like her. She's like most of the people I mentioned, like Lady Gaga. I like her older stuff versus her newer stuff. It takes me a minute to like see how they mature as an artist before I get into them, and then I'll go back and listen to their older stuff too. And I can't say that Kanye I've been listening to since his first album, so he has that in his favor. But when there's the back and forth between anybody, I'm like, I don't see what the big deal is, and I'll listen to both. Like instead of choosing a side and I'm only going to listen to Kanye, fuck Taylor, I'll listen to both.
Yeah.
Because
well, that's a good way to be. That shows that you're not like a completely closed-minded person. So that's a plus.
I just don't know what I have no idea what the beef is.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say that like Taylor had some songs that I liked, like Delicate. It's like, is it cool that anyways, it's Delicate. It's from like not this album, but like the album before, which was during the beef. I actually like that song. But I don't like her, so then it's every time, like when you're doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing, and like you're like, oh, this is so good, this is so great, but I shouldn't be doing this. You feel kind of like bad about it.
Hopefully nobody will find out.
Yeah, I hope no one sees. Like if you're on a diet and you eat a like big ass cheeseburger, you're like, I hope no one sees me eat this with this milkshake, and then like your fucking personal trainer walks by while you're on Steak and Shake, and it's like like that. But that's how I feel when I listen to Taylor, the songs that I like. It's a past, yeah. I wouldn't say pleasure. I wouldn't say pleasure.
That's a bit too much.
Yeah, but that's how I feel, and she loves being a victim.
She does.
She loves it. That her whole.
That's the whole
it's
bad.
built on being a victim.
What, that bad publicity?
Yeah, yeah. And so my whole point in bringing this up is Kim called her a snake, and then everyone was posting snake emojis on her Instagram, and it got to the point where she had to turn off her comments because all of her pictures, anything she posted, snake. So she disappeared for like a year or so, maybe 2 years. She comes back with this reputation, and I'm giving her so much pussy. I hate it. She comes back with reputation, and her whole thing is, look what you made me do. You're calling for the old Taylor while she's dead.
Yeah.
And the song is like, she's talking about a tilted stage, which is what Kanye did for his St. Pablo tour. So she's just throwing shade, this and that, and she comes into like this, there's like a bunch of snakes, and that's the whole vibe for the album is, okay, I'm a snake, so what? And I like that. If it wasn't her, like if it was someone who I didn't care about, I'd be like, yo, that's kind of dope. But it's her, and I'm just like, ugh. But
like, damn, why did she have to think about that?
Right? Why does she have to come back from the depths of hell? Like, stay there. But yeah, and even I think this week her fans, she posted like just like it's a gif of just like snake, like a.
I do like. I've listened to a little bit of this new album. I like it. I like something about, and I don't listen to a lot of her stuff. I don't. I'm not other than what's kind of thrown out on social media and all that kind of stuff, or any kind of back and forth with her, whatever. Like, I don't keep up with it, and I don't listen to her stuff. I probably listen to more of Kanye's stuff as it comes out than I do hers. But like, there's so much, I guess, talk about her dropping an album in the middle of COVID and stuff like that, and the whole vibe to it. It's like, now I'm curious. I have to check it out. To me, it's like her best one. Yeah, it's her best stuff. Like, if her whole stuff had been like this, I would have been a fan from the beginning. She was too. I mean, granted, she was like young.
Yeah.
And she's
like 30 now, isn't she?
I'm probably getting close to it, so which is still young. But she was so super young when she came out, and like her country stuff, and then kind of crossing over into pop. It's like, that music did nothing for me. Because you're not talking about anything you're not talking about anything I can relate to.
Yeah.
Other than your ex-boyfriends. Every song is about somebody you dated. It's like,
is it cool that I said all that?
You know a lot of her lyrics for.
Listen, that song, I just love that song because it matched with what I was going through.
You made me think of something that you said in the last video, which I watched it a couple times and I was trying to catch it. When we were talking about, I had said to me, and I didn't listen to a whole lot of Lil Kim, so I'm not sure. I'm just kind of going based off their appearance and what I've seen and stuff, but. To me, Nicki Minaj was the next Lil Kim, and now Cardi B is the next Nicki Minaj. You said, don't let somebody hear you say that. Who did you say? Don't let, you're like, don't let
her hear you say that. Because
Cardi B
and Nicki Minaj do not get along. They have a huge beef.
Yeah, and if I chose sides in that fight, I'd go Nicki Minaj all the way. I listen to Nicki Minaj way more than I've ever listened
Nicki
to.
Minaj doesn't really put out stuff that like.
She's still
She
on.
puts out radio hits. That's it. I want someone that's gonna put out something I can listen to their whole album. And I'm not hating on Nicki. I do love her. Love, I'm not a stan or anything, but like I respect her music, her as an artist, all of that. But they have beef because of something that went down. They were on a song together, and they just had problems. But it's funny because WAP, and we were talking so much about Cardi B.
Oh, that's what I'm. Go ahead.
We were talking so much about Cardi B, we never talked about Meg Thee Stallion, which I realized afterwards. Meg Thee Stallion is pretty cool. She got shot in the foot. Did you know that?
Yeah.
We don't have to talk about it because I don't want to say the wrong thing and then get blown up, But
I mean, yeah.
Meg Thee Stallion has some. She's also a very like type rapper. Her music gets people hyped. It's like
My thing is with that song is, and I was gonna mention that when you were texting me on your way here,
Mhm.
and you said something about Joaquin, you're like, oh, he's okay.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay.
I know
I
when
was
you
like,
said that, I
We'll
was
talk,
like,
we'll talk about that. I was like, well, excuse him for not coming out with a song like WAP. Like, what would that be called? I think I thought of something like LAD or something like this. I don't. Who knows?
LAD.
Yeah.
You got that bad.
Excuse him for coming, being above talking about his wing.
His dingling.
But I was like, I was gonna see where the
No,
conversation goes.
that's not what I meant. I mean,
I know. I was just gonna tie that in.
Yeah, that's pretty funny though. LAD.
I thought
You better copyright that.
I was like, I need to
Trademark it.
It's like I need to remember to bring that up in the combo. And then when you brought WAP, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. I do like him. I do. Like I said, I've only listened to a few of his songs though, so I can't give you like a whole.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't really going back to that. My thing with Cardi B is like, because I like her stuff, but I don't like WAP, and I don't know if it's because I'm
It's over sexualized, and you have a daughter, all that. Like,
but
people,
again, and I've seen a lot of that stuff on Twitter where people are saying, this person came out with this song, this dude came out with this song. There's all these songs that are just, and nobody's hating on them. Is it because she's a girl? Is it because she's talking about, why is everybody hating on her? But yeah, so I don't know if I do feel it's inappropriate. Probably.
I mean, it's not like she made it for a freaking kindergartner to listen to.
Yeah, I mean that's true. But even if you don't make it for, that's what I was saying in our last episode. It's like when I was a kid, there were songs that were inappropriate that weren't made for me, but I was listening to them, and I would defend them and say, "Oh, it's a great song." I mean, my music taste has matured since then, and I'll still listen to that stuff, but I wouldn't go back and say it's a great song. Because there is a point to, I mean, whether you have kids or not, where it's like, is it appropriate or not? That's one question. But the other thing is if this is the last thing that you're known for, or if this is what you go down in music history for, is that what you want to be remembered for? That's my bottom line. And that's kind of where I stopped with concerning WAP, a great song, because I like her. I liked her more before I like her now because of that song.
Really?
Yeah, because I did like that, even though you think it's real, or at least you feel it's real. I think it's more of a persona, but I like the persona.
Maybe she's not to that degree, but that's definitely her.
I mean, I like that persona. I like that the last thing that she came out with that at least I knew about was Press. I think it was called Press.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Press. I like that song. What kind of her point about it is like, it's all, I like the story and the lyrics of that song, even though it's still probably not appropriate for a kid, but I'm an adult, so it's like I could appreciate that. But when I was kind of hearing about WAP and all that, and then she dropped it, and I watched the video, I'm like, oh my god, like, this is a whole nother level, like, even for her.
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of, her, yeah, it's like, I like you, but if that's the last thing people remember you about, that's what you want to be remembered for?
I guess.
Because eventually everybody's light is going to go out.
Yeah, that's true. You go to sleep.
And so, like, even being in a no-name band back in Austin, 2 decades ago, and we put out one EP of just mediocre music. But my thing is, like, that was a dream of mine to be in a band, to put music out, to at least make one album or something where they put it out in the world. So now it's out there forever. Whether nobody's listening to it or not, who knows?
Plug it.
But
Shameless plug. Do it.
it's actually on my YouTube channel. But all our songs, all our songs are on there. But so they can go back and dig that up on 512 RTD if they want.
I will. That's what I'm doing tonight.
But my thing is if that's all we ever do, which it was, am I happy with that? And so, like, that's just kind of the way I see anybody, whether they're 10 million followers strong or 200,000 or 200. Are you happy with if that's the only thing you ever put out? Is that what you want to be remembered for?
Yeah, that's why a lot of my videos on my YouTube channel are private. Because I'm like,
there's a few that I've taken down, but only a few. One was just it was political, and it was back when Obama was running against McCain. And I just like it, that's history, so I took that down.
But I don't know. You already know how I feel about Cardi. I'm very with people expressing how they express exactly how they want to express it. And even with Taylor, I wouldn't be like, okay, well, you bitch about your boyfriend a lot, so why don't you do something else? Like, that's what she does, so it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I can appreciate that. I think we talked for almost 2 hours.
I know. We've been talking a lot.
Yeah, and I got 10 o'clock with my cup, so I'm
It's
glad we
10?
started. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I'm glad we started at 8. And
Yeah.
it's funny because I listened to Joe Rogan before, but I went back and started from the beginning because when I start really getting into something, I want to go back and start from the beginning.
He has so many podcasts.
He does.
He has 1,500 something. And
Over that.
He started at the beginning.
So I listened to, but it was interesting to me because it's like back in 2009, Christmas of 2009. The episode is like just number 1 or something. Like that's all it says. Like number 1. They're on, I think, Ustream or some sort of streaming thing. They obviously have webcams. They're talking about Twitter, but you can hear about how they're talking about Twitter, how early Twitter was back then. And it's just fine to go back and listen to, but like their first episode, I think, was like an hour and a half. And then they talk about doing it again, him and Brian Redmond, I think it is. I think so. I don't know. I expected you to know.
I haven't watched any of his. He's not on there anymore. I guess. I don't know.
Now he's in Austin, and he signed a deal with Spotify.
100 mil. 100 mil.
I don't know if we'd ever do that, but we'll get to that level one day.
That's pretty awesome. I don't think
I don't know. I'm kind of solid to Anchor right now, man.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
But anyway,
They're getting us out there. That's what's important.
He's well, that and they distribute out to different platforms, and I like that. So you're not limited to like one platform.
Yeah.
And
also, go ahead.
But the first episode I think was like an hour and a half, and then he's like, okay, we should do like 2 hours, whatever. And then one dude's like 2 hours, that's so long, blah blah blah. And then the episode 2 is like 2.5 hours. They keep trying to end it, but they keep talking.
Yeah, that's how it was.
And now you look at his episodes; they're like 3.5 hours.
He has a 5-hour episode with Duncan something. I forget his last name, but
that's what I like. That I was like, I didn't think I would like that type of podcast, but I get the draw to it because you start with one thing and it just kind of let it organically go, and I like that.
I didn't know we were going to be talking about religion today.
I didn't either.
I think our title should be "Music and Religion."
I was thinking like
episode 4.
I want to do like the number 4. I really like that idea because I would love the idea of one day doing 1500 and just seeing it number 1500. But I was thinking about like something like number 4, Reina Del Cid, etc. Like we didn't even really talk a whole lot about her, but shout out Reina. I love her stuff.
Reina, if you watch this, please tweet Mark. Obviously, he's been a fan for how long? You're probably, if you watch the whole thing, thank you. First off.
I don't think you had that kind of time. It's really busy.
But if you do, at least just tweet 512 Mark DD. Give him a shout out. Not even a shout, just tweet him. He'll be happy. It will make his day.
Tweet the show.
Yeah. I mean, if she tweets you, it'll be to us.
Maybe we'll get you one more
Maybe we
fan.
can, maybe we can interview you. Not interview, but maybe you can be on the podcast one day. Where does she live?
I think she goes back and forth between Minnesota and LA. Yeah.
She's cool. I like her vibe.
Her whole group and and forgive me, I'm not sure of her lead guitarist that she puts out the videos with every Sunday, but they have really good vibes. And I think each person that plays in her band, I don't know if it's consistently the same, like 4 or so people, but I do see people kind of come and go in the videos, but they all have their own different kind of project going on too when they're not in her band. So it's a whole really cool vibe that they got going on. Yeah, we'll link Reina for sure. We'll link.
Joe doesn't need a link. he has enough.
Yeah, no, Joe Rogan does not need a link.
We need to put our stuff in,
and then
we'll the
link,
description.
Yeah, I did. I updated it so it's defaulted now.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I did that last week. I know I forgot to last week, so I made it a point so it's default, so I don't even have to think about it.
And we have merch, guys. We're not wearing it today, but we have merch. We have some new additions in our Teespring store, so check it out.
Yeah,
link is always in the
There's
description.
some new stuff coming in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I'll link Watsky. I'll link Hobo Johnson.
Yes. Hobo. I think that's all.
And then I guess we don't have anything to link for next episode. Do you want to say what next episode is? Or no?
We're doing that.
It's your pick. So, I mean, if
we don't have to say, we'll just say who our guest is. We can do that.
Okay.
Our next guest, our first guest actually, first guest, and most likely we're going to be doing Zoom, right?
Yeah.
He's zooming in, so it just makes sense for us all to be on Zoom. TMT Lamont, he's actually my brother. He's a YouTuber in Ohio, and he wanted to be on the podcast, so he's going to be our first guest. My choice, of course. Mark was, he thinks it's a good idea. Christian has a lot. Christian's his name, but he goes by TMT Lamont. He has a lot of interesting thoughts, and I'm excited to have him on.
Me too.
I told him he wants to talk about some crazy topics, so I don't know if
might be another longer episode.
Yeah. But I'm super excited, and it'll be interesting to see how we act when we have guests.
Yeah.
Like if we're like, I mean I won't because he's my brother, but I'm excited. So TMT Lamont, he's gonna be our next guest, and literally it's how you say it is how you find it. If you guys want to look up his YouTube channel. And get to know him. He does like reaction videos with his girlfriend, pranks, stuff like that. He interviews people like artists and stuff.
We can plug it next week and then we'll link it next week for sure. But so no need to do your homework for next week, but definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
So a lot of firsts, man. We've done our first episode ever, and that was on a movie, which I had not done before.
Yeah.
Our second episode was on a book. We got our first kind of debate.
I love it.
Our first in-person.
So it's like every episode is a first.
So far, I mean, you got to start somewhere.
Also, Mark mentioned on Twitter, because I kind of told him how my friends gave me the idea. I've been debating whether or not to get my nose pierced.
Oh, yeah.
And my friends gave me the idea, once we hit 100 subscribers, we should do it live on the podcast. Mark?
Is it 100 or 1,000?
1,000 subscribers.
Okay.
Yeah. I keep wanting to say 100K for some reason. But anyways, so I'm going to be getting my septum pierced, and Mark here is not going to cut his hair, till we hit 1,000 subscribers. We're getting kind of.
I don't mind, but my wife is begging everybody to subscribe.
So please, share our videos. We love the support that we're getting. We get a lot of support on Facebook, actually.
Don't be shy. Comment. Let us.
Natalie, shout out to you. You're our top fan on Facebook.
Yeah, top fan.
She literally made a Twitter.
She's going to be leader of the fan club.
Yeah, she made a Twitter that says, top fan of radio and randomness. I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, so shout out to our fans.
I did notate. She did put in a request for Mulan. I wrote that down on the list.
It comes out it's free on Disney Plus in December. So
I have Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus now, but there's like a premium fee or something. But yeah, I guess.
Well, we'll see. Well, I mean, we'll get there. 'Cause
Yeah.
I do have a extensive list. There's like I said, Rena was on my list before when I started the old. I call it now the old show because it wasn't working. But she was on the list, and I still want to talk to her, which is talk about her, which is why I put her in this.
Yeah, definitely a
YC
good
was
choice.
on the list, so I threw him in here today.
Kanye was on the list.
So, and now since we started this real show, which is the way it was, I think the way the universe wanted it to be originally anyway. I think our ideas are just constantly flowing. I know my list is constantly like I'm thinking of different stuff and that doing like some of the stuff we may never do, some stuff we'll eventually get to or whatever. But it's someone makes a suggestion, I do literally put on the list, and when we can fit it in or where it makes sense, we'll do it.
I was just thinking on Friday was Melody's birthday.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize till like halfway through the day, I'm like, oh, we're for Mark today. Like,
Yeah,
it's Melody's birthday. I have to like text, and you're probably like, Melody's birthday. But I wanted to tell you like happy birthday for her. But yeah, it's weird when we're not just like throwing ideas back and forth throughout the day.
Yeah, I was offline pretty much on Friday for sure.
Which is good. I mean, it's your daughter's birthday.
I took off work from both jobs. My day job I put in for it because Monday was a holiday, but I was already off on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the job is 365, almost 24/7 because with what I do is urgent care and emergency situations. But I'm already off on Sunday and Monday, so I had holiday time. So I was like, well, can I use that on Friday? And they're like, oh, we'll see. We have to see what the volume's like, blah, blah, blah. And they just put a pending. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if you don't approve it, I'm just going to call out.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was doing you a favor, just giving you a heads up, hey, I'm not coming in.
Yeah. That's a concept, calling out from home.
And so Friday, I mean, they never approved it, so I ended up putting out for Friday, but I already had the night off from my night job, which is normally Tuesday to Friday. So it's like that was the first Friday in a long time I had off from both jobs. So nothing else to do but play with Melody and have people over. It was a good day. I was limited because of the COVID, but and I mean we're kind of comfortable with that, especially with people we know and stuff. But we're still kind of easing into it because there's always going to be a little bit of concern.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you're wearing your mask, washing your hands, I mean.
Yeah, everybody that we've been around, and people that we haven't been around, kind of on and off the full time.
Yeah, that's how it is. Like people that I work with are the people that I hang out with the most now. So, yeah, good episode.
I think it's a great episode. Yeah.
Until next time.
Thanks for sticking with us. Sorry about a couple interruptions, the battery dying.
Yeah,
Melody did really well.
Melody did amazing. I think she just wanted me to be here in order to.
Yeah, because I was more concerned with how she gets seeing the camera on the computer. I was like, man, when she sees, because she knows the camera, she loves the camera. I was like, man, which you could see when she was trying to walk up to the camera and block a shot. She wanted to be on camera. But I was concerned when she saw the whole setup that she was just not going to leave us in the room. And she wasn't going to be. But she spent this whole time out there playing, coloring.
She did good.
She did really
Props
good. So, props to Little Melody. And really happy with the way it turned out. I did not expect it to talk.
I knew we were going to talk forever. I knew it.
Which I'm glad because we were going to do it at 9. And I was like, well, if we do it at 9, I'm limited to stopping around 10. Because Sunday got errands.
Because I did not want to get up early, but it is.
And then last minute, she's like, you know what, we'll stick to 8. We already been starting at 8.
Yeah, I want to keep it consistent.
So good thing, because we talked for 2 hours. So thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for watching.
I'm TheRaveWave, and this is
512 Mark DD. Just kidding. 512 Mark DD. I know it's confusing, but stay with me.
Yeah, it's not 500 something. All right, guys, we're out.
We're out.